Hey guys, welcome back to the Law Read Slowly. In the last session, we were discussing the topic of plaint. So we are done with discussing the format of a plaint, where I told you how would you write a plaint, what are the different components of a plaint. We began with index, we saw memo of parties, we saw the heading of a plaint, we saw the paragraphs of pleadings. In those paragraphs, I told you there will be technical pleadings, there will be matters in issue, there will be a prayer, there will be a verification, there will be an affidavit, then there will be a list of documents, there will be a wakalatnama, and of course, you will attach your documents. We got into specific discussion on what is technical pleadings, what can be the different kinds of technical pleadings. I also gave you an example of specimens of how would you write these different kinds of technical pleadings related to jurisdiction, limitation, res judicata, res sub judice. Then we took a fact scenario of the suit of specific performance, and I made you write how would you write a cause of action in specific performance. I made you write reliefs under the prayer section based on that. So now you know to a great extent that what a plaint is, how is it written, how would you navigate a plaint if you encounter one. Then we got into a pointed discussion on what is affidavit and verification. I've already told you a couple of times why these topics are important, because they've been brought in by an amendment and they've led to a landmark case also. Now, for this session, I want to continue with that discussion. In the last session, I left you with a reading of section 26, where we discussed that the requirement for an affidavit was brought in. Why is an affidavit important? We have spoken about it a number of times, but I want to complete this discussion on affidavit and verification in its entirety now and then proceed further. Because now I will discuss with you the topic of affidavit not only in relation to a plaint, but also in general. How does it become important to understand the idea of an affidavit for a civil trial or a civil suit or the code of civil procedure in general, right? So we saw section 26 in the last session. Let's go to section 26. We'll quickly get through it and then we'll move on to order 4 we will read now, because I read section 26 with you in the last session also, but just to keep things connected. Section 26, institution of suits. Every suit shall be instituted by the presentation of a plaint or in such other manner as may be prescribed. I have discussed with you the import of such other manner as may be prescribed. A case can be started by filing a petition or an application. For example, the election related cases, we'll do one of those cases today, GM Siddeshwar case, which was started by filing an election petition, but then the rules by which the court judged the completeness of that election petition were the rules of CPC. That is how the court discussed that requirement of affidavit is mandatory, requirement of verification is mandatory. Both of them must be fulfilled. Why? Because it has been written in the CPC, and a petition is a pleading of CPC. Even if here section 26 is talking about plain, but the latter part is saying in such other manner. That is how you can judge a petition or an application also, by the standards laid down in the CPC. Subsection 2, in every plaint, facts shall be proved by affidavit. I have discussed this subsection also with you. I've also told you that when they're saying that proved by affidavit, it does not mean proved in the simple sense of taking something as proved. No, it means supported. That is proving to the extent that you're supporting it with an affidavit. Whenever you're filing the fact, whenever you're filing your plaint, you attach an affidavit which is saying that yes, I'm not lying in my plaint, I'm not lying about the facts that I've written about in my plaint. Only to that extent it is to be used the word proved. We've discussed this. I will probably make you write it also today, so this stays with you. And it's an important point, because a lot of time people think that, oh, okay, if it says proved, then I might just attach an affidavit and my fact must be taken to be as proved by the court. But that's not what it means. It only means that you will support it by attaching an affidavit with it. Now, if you see also section 1 of your BSA 2023 Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, subsection 2 there, it's going to say that the Indian evidence, the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam is not applicable on affidavits. What does it mean? That affidavit is not evidence. Affidavit in itself is not giving you any evidence. It's only a statement that holds you accountable to the law, in which you declare that I am not lying. And only to that extent your affidavit holds you true. So if tomorrow it turns out you were lying, then law can affix a liability on you. Why? Because you promised law that you were not lying. Look at section, I will read it out for you if you have your Bare Act. Come to section 1 of BSA, subsection 2. It shall apply, there's a typographical error or maybe some oversight, but that's not how it should be written. Because it reads, it shall applies to all. So let's read it. It shall apply to all judicial proceedings in and before any court. Clear. Of course, your evidences that are coming to you in the courtroom during the course of trial will be proven by the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. Clear. Including court martial, your army courts, but not applicable to what? But not to affidavits presented to any court or officer, nor to any proceedings before an arbitrator. Arbitration, forget that. It's a different concept altogether. But point being that affidavits are not something which are governed by a Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. So tomorrow, if you file an affidavit, you can't say that, oh, it's not a true affidavit, or that some a rule from the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam should be applicable. It should be taken as evidence in itself. No, it's not an evidence of the fact. It's only a statement which holds you accountable to your truthfulness. So affidavits are not governed by Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. Clear? That's why when you say proved by an affidavit, that proof by an affidavit is not the kind of proof we are seeking from you under Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. You can say that you have proved it by way of an affidavit, but that's not proving, because Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam doesn't even consider affidavit to be something that falls within its purview. So you must prove something. A fact has to be proven based on the tests, the trial processes that are given in the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam. What are these trial processes? Examination in chief, cross-examination, re-examination, examination of the object. If you're trying to prove that this helmet was broken, then this Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam allows the court to call for that helmet to the court and observe whether it's actually broken from that spot or not. So all of that has to be done by Bharatiya Sakshi Adhiniyam, not by just an affidavit. Clear? Now let's read Order 4, because we've read Order Section 26. So let's read Order 4 because they're supposed to be read together. Then we'll be done with the discussion on Section 26 and Order 4. Come to Order 4. Institution of suits. Suit to be commenced by plaint. Every suit shall be instituted by presenting a plaint in duplicate to the court or such officer as it appoints in this behalf. Every plaint shall comply with the rules contained in Order 6 and 7. Order 6, pleading, 7, plaint, so far as they are applicable. Then subsection 3, the plaint shall not be deemed to be duly instituted unless it complies with the requirements specified in subrules 1 and 2. So you can't run away from what is provided in the orders. You have to follow Order 6 and Order 7. If you're not following them and filing a plaint which is not following Order 6 and Order 7 rules, then it will not even be called a plaint. And even if you file it, it will not be said that you have instituted a plaint. Subrule 2, Rule 2, my bad. Register of suits. The court shall cause the particulars of every suit to be entered in a book to be kept for the purpose, and called the register of civil suits. Such entries shall be numbered in every year according to the order in which the plaints are admitted. So we have discussed this, that there will be a register of civil suits. Let me show you. If you come to appendix portion and you come to the very last appendix, which I believe should be H, yes, it's appendix H and form number 14. It's giving you the form which tells you how will this register of civil suits be written, how will an entry be made into it, what all information will you collect to put in that register of civil suits. See, CPC is telling you everything. So even if you don't know anything about the civil procedure, drafting, pleading, don't worry, just come to CPC, read the CPC, it will tell you everything. Even the courts are being instructed by CPC. Courts are being told how will you write stuff in register of civil suits, what all will you write in your register of civil suits. That's also provided in the CPC. So form 14, appendix H. Let me also take it down in my Bear Act. Yeah, so that is there. Now, having discussed this, we will go into the full-on discussion of affidavit and verification from here on. We've had some discussion on this, a good amounts of discussion, but still some people have some phobia, some questions have come to me. The term affidavit, what is it? Simply, it is a statement of truth. We have seen the format of an affidavit. What are you writing in it? You're just writing that I'm not lying. But they say that we have heard affidavit in so many places. So do you file affidavit for everything? Yes, you're not wrong to say that you have heard affidavit in so many places, because truthfulness is required in so many places in the law. So one, we have seen affidavit in pleadings. So you attach affidavit with your pleadings. Why? So you are pledging to the truthfulness of whatever you're writing in your pleadings. Correct? Then where else can you see the affidavits? Affidavit can also be seen in your everyday actions. For example, people change their names, spellings of their names. They have to write an affidavit that my name was this, now my name is this, and I'm writing an affidavit to that regard. So tomorrow, if somebody makes a document in your name using that new spelling, you can't say that, oh, this is not even my spellings, this is not in my name. That affidavit, you will be held accountable by that affidavit. You have to be held accountable. How? By that affidavit. For example, if you are applying for a job,